Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Tonight, we gonna let it rain. Just like the sunrise, we gonna let it rain. Just like the street lights lit this town, like a fire in a blaze, gotta burn it down. Can't be afraid to leave this out. We got this far, don't know how. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we gonna let it.
Hey everybody, welcome in, welcome in. Did you like the new intro? Hopefully you did. I had like half of the old intro and then the new one finally loaded. So the song will match the intro. Hopefully the song is not copywritten because it said it wasn't. So hopefully it's not. If it is, it just will be cut out in the beginning of this live. So if you see this live and it doesn't have an intro, that's why. But if you're here, you know, you might be new to the channel, but I doubt you're new. You've probably been here before. But if you haven't, welcome in, welcome, 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 and welcome back for all of our returning Titans. Thank you for joining me. If you guys were over at the Lore Lodges live, you saw the madness that chat was. I was attacked like no other. Like, whoa, you know? Like, I have never been like that. I've never, like, this has been going on for a couple months now, and I'm going to tell you all about it because I've been keeping my mouth shut. And it's like, what is going on? So, hey, Ladybug. Hey, Mike. Hey, Chubby. Or Cubby. Chubby. It's Cubby. Chubby or Cubby. It's both cute. Barbie is boss. Hi, welcome in. Hey, Angel. Mike. We got Mike again. We got Cash, how you doing, Cash? How's everybody doing tonight? Oh, you're getting snow? Oh, hey, Mandy. Snow there all day? Man, ladybug. I don't like the snow. We have enough snow here. And it was melting and now it's like a whole layer of ice because it's so cold out. I don't even know what the temperature is here. I'll tell you though. I'll tell you real quick. And then we'll get right into tonight's live since I'm a little late. Oh, yeah, it's 3 degrees out. But at least it doesn't say it feels like negative something, you know? Hey, True Crime Lullabies, you missed our live earlier. Thank you for the cup. It tastes good. I couldn't believe it. I was like, this actually tastes like it has a little bit of sugar in it. So I drank the whole cup, like the whole bottle, and I had Vincent try it. And he was like, Edge strong. I said, oh yeah, that's because I have it turned up all the way. But yeah, I saw you in there. I didn't know if you saw me. It was brutal. Hey, Lucy. And I'm sorry, I know I skipped over people, but welcome in, everybody. It's good to see you guys. Yes, thank you, Mary Beth. I have to send mine out. I'm gonna do that tomorrow. Thank you, Lucy Day, for the nice opening. Hey, CJK. Hey, Aries. I saw your where you just said you thought of me, your virtual friend, and I think of you as a friend. I really do. We've been together for a long time, Aries. And don't worry, I won't leave you. I won't boot you. I might on accident, or something. So I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Hey, Ashley. You guys missed it. If you weren't over there, Chai was there. Hey, Sirius. True Crime Lullabies. I'm trying to see I'm trying to remember who all I saw. Aries. It was just so hard to see people in the chat. They didn't have the chat slowed down at all. There was 5,000, like 5,700 people in there. I was like, person named Brenda. I wonder if she was one that came after me. There was a couple of them. Hey, Proud Mimi. There was a few of them. Like, I literally was being nice. I'm like, is it Ja? Ja? Uh, green team probably having enough. They're all, see, yeah, they were. Oh my gosh. Well, the one that I said, do I even know you? I knew who that was because that's like BJ's main buddy. Like they're buddies. And so I'm like, she's trying to get stuff stirred up because the subscribers will do that a lot of times. Like, no offense to people, like I know you're subscribers, but y'all, my chat, and I don't know if you were in the chat, you saw me say, I am so thankful for my chat because you guys are smart. But they were over there, they were like just ruthless. Everything I said was like they were trying to turn it into a fight. And they're all connected to Brittany. So it's like, were you trying to get me to go after her? Because I don't even know you. And I mean, it was like, oh, it was bad. Tempest had my back. Tempest is like, apparently you haven't watched her channel before because she's not drama. I'm like, I'm not. Even my second channel, like I was going to do like Betty and stuff over there and like, laugh at Betty. But I was like, no, I didn't want to do that because it was like, in a way, like being drama, And that's why today I did like a water live. A water live. It's been like this every chat I go into. So the last couple months, I don't know what it is, but if I'm in a chat, I'm not talking bad about nobody. I will literally just say hey, hi, or whatever, and it'll get screenshotted and then twisted around like I'm this horrible person. So I just stopped going into chats. Like I literally stopped chatting for like 3 or 4 weeks. And then I chatted in Dutch's yesterday and nonsense. I chatted, I said hello. And in Dutch's, I was chatting a lot because she went over Madalena Kojikari. So I was all up in there, talking. But I was just like, what the heck? That was and nonsense. Those were the only 2 chats that I went into where I wasn't attacked. Like, really? Then they said that wasn't too easy. I couldn't even see who like said stuff unless they were tagging me in it because the chat was going so fast. This one isn't, but I do have the Circle Cup. TLC True Crime Lullabies got it for me. It's really nice. They're really nice. And they taste good. I was very surprised. See, yeah, well, I know I usually don't go in there either. I usually do. Okay, I always usually with these kind of cases, with this kind of stuff, I will do like a blind reaction with you guys. Most of the time I watch the videos before I come on, you know? But sometimes you just want to do a blind reaction. But this one I wanted to see kind of the chat and see what was going on. They drank the Kool-Aid, man. They drank it and they drank it good. They drank it good. I mean, it literally was like I've never been bullied before, but it felt like I was getting bullied. This one girl called me a mean girl. This is when I broke it. This is when I just broke down. This woman, I'm going to say this woman, and I'm going to venture to guess that she's a woman, and I'm going to venture to guess that she's a woman older than me. I'm just going to venture to guess. And she said, "You're a mean girl." I said, "How old are you? If I'm a mean girl, just call me a bitch." That's what I mean. And why am I the main mean girl? Why am I, of all of us, the main mean girl? I don't want to be the main mean girl. Really, Angel? It was an attack on you too, man. I was just like, man, I'm usually like, I told Vincent, he was in the closet. I said, do they want to see mean? I said, you haven't even seen mean in 9 years. I said, hell, I don't even know if I've seen mean because I can get mean. I can get, it's just, I don't, you know? Thank you, Tempest. With different opinions. Yeah. Like, and I love the difference of an opinion and being able to talk about it and not be attacking each other. I wouldn't be able to do those lives like with those people in my chat. Like, y'all, I'll take a smaller chat any day of the week. I will. I just will. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It was bad in there. But let's pull up Lore Lounge. I know everybody's live right now. And their brother. Everybody and their brother's live. My brother might be live actually about this. You never know. Now, maybe this will get the word out a little more about Sebastian, but as far as the internet or the interview went, I need to listen to it again. I really do. It seemed like Lore Lounge was kind of in the beginning of the interview, like he wasn't asking very hard questions. Like I thought he was going to be like, you know, asking all the hard stuff and getting to the truth. And like the stuff he was asking SF, SF was just like, yeah, like, and answering it. And it was just like, I was like, I don't know. He's not as tough as he thinks he is, I guess. So we'll see. We're going to put this on 1.2 just to see. If it's too fast, then we'll go back. But I like listening to things again anyway, because usually you can like listen and you'll be like, oh, but the chat won't be on yet. So we'll have to wait. I don't even want to read these. SF is a clown. It's going to be like this. Like, you know what I mean? Dude was cagey as hell. But, like, and this was very unsatisfying and anticlimactic to watch. So Sebastian's case is supposed to be like, what, are you kidding me? Blazin Princess or whatever your name is. I'm so disappointed in this interview. Was a waste of my time. Go hang up a flyer for Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. I bet you haven't. I bet you every creator on that green team, not one of them, I bet you, has went out and searched or put out a flyer for Sebastian. And I mean, you know, you've got people like Betty there every freaking minute. Like, why isn't she searching? Like, it's crazy to me. We're going to have to watch something funny after this. I want to roll. And stop trying to get people to argue.
In this case,
it's just like, you know,
the Lore Lodge.
It's not going to happen over here. And no one's jealous. We're just over here doing our thing, you know? And we'll be back to doing Idaho content tomorrow. I have a big Idaho show for you guys.
We have a pretty special show for you guys tonight.
He just
over on Twitter, after we did one of our Sebastian Rogers live streams.
Oh, I do want to say this. Did you guys notice how he kept trying to clip in his JonBenet Ramsey coverage? It's because he wrote on his community page a couple of days ago that he wasn't going to be doing that anymore because he wasn't getting the views. He's getting over 100,000 views on those videos. They're doing better than any of his other videos are doing by far. So why would you take that away from your subscribers that are there to watch that? Why would you quit something? You quitter? I don't quit.
Got into a bit of an interaction with Steve Fischer here, who's a private investigator.
And this may be a part 1 and part 2. We're going to try to get through
the case. It was a little bit tense, but I think we've gotten to a good spot where we agree we're doing this for the right reasons. We're in the same place mentally, even if we at the moment disagree on what may have happened in this case. So, I think what I have been wondering this whole time is, where is the other side coming from in this? And I thought there's no better way to get to the bottom of that, no better way to understand some of the claims that have come out from you, Steve, than to sit here and have you on the show to ask you. So if you'd like to introduce yourself, I'll give you the floor.
Yeah, they don't even tell him he's that they knew he was muted, right? Unless they can hear him somehow through their ear set.
All right. So I guess one
must
question
have been.
I think that I would have and a lot of other people had is, you say you're a private investigator. Obviously, you're licensed in several states. States tend to have different regulations. Here in Pennsylvania, you have to be a detective for 3 years first. So one thing I think a lot of people would love to know is, what are your credentials and how did you get into this line of work?
So originally, I thought my career path was going to be aviation, and it oddly started through that. I got my commercial pilot's license, and I was building time. One of the jobs I got as an apprentice was with the state of Texas and their aircraft fleet, and one department being the Attorney General's office, and missing persons ran through there. And there would be searches that would be conducted using the state aircraft, and so that was my first kind of introduction to it. And then from there, I went as a fixed wing pilot to a private team in Texas. That this is 24 years ago, 25 years ago. So this is before thermal drones and whatnot. So we were mainly looking for like downed aircraft or people that were lost in really remote areas using FLIR and whatnot. And so I always have stayed with search and rescue. And I started, search and rescue involves a degree of investigation, right?
Yeah.
It has to usually, you have investigators working with you because it's usually you're a branch, extension for that search of law enforcement.
Right.
And from there, it just kind of, it went into where I became in-house investigator for a law firm that specialized in family law. So there was custodial interference cases, which are essentially, these are dealing with wealthier cases and stuff and kind of trickier situations. And from there, then I went ahead and decided to get my PI license, just because there is a fine line when you're working search and rescue as to where you cross over into, actually working as an investigator. So that's kind of where it evolved from.
Gotcha. So it was kind of the logical next step. You were getting more directly involved, trying to make a career out of this.
Well, I never intended, to be honest with you, the investigation to be a full-time career. There was other careers. I've had other careers I love, and to be honest with you, I miss, but this just has become, there hasn't been any gaps. A lot of people know this already. I'm a fashion photographer, and I've done well in that industry, and I've certainly, but I haven't taken any jobs in the last 2 or 3 years. I haven't shot for any magazines or anything because I've just been overwhelmed with this. And so I don't know if this is like a permanent thing or not. It was never meant to be. It just because of some success I've had that's been publicized. I tends to be one case after another.
Gotcha. So with this case specifically, I know for me, I first saw the name Sebastian Rogers while I was covering Riley Strain, and I went, okay, well, there's not really any connective tissue here. They're 7 years apart. One is on the autism spectrum, and for the most part seems to be, a homebody. The other one is a 22-year-old at University of Missouri. Different, one's rural, one's city. It just didn't seem to have connective tissue. So
really quickly, to just give a little bit more background on that as well, we had been covering a following up series on the smiley face killers phenomenon. And so the reason why Riley Strain landed on our desk, the reason why Riley Strain specifically landed on our desk that way was because he at the time that he went missing very much fit the profile that we had already done several videos on. So that was just another reason why that was the focus.
So we were looking for specifically this one kind of thing. And I'm going to be straight up. I still think foul play seems like a strong possibility in Riley Strain's case as well. But
so there's 2 cases that he thinks something happened to somebody where there's no proof of that. Okay.
So I saw the name Sebastian Rogers and I went, well, weird, but doesn't look
Here,
like
let
it's
me put
related.
his link in the chat
And
too.
it's also ongoing. I don't want to get into this. I started covering Riley Strain only after they found him. So because I don't like to get involved in ongoing cases for exactly the reason you might guess after the last 2 weeks. It's not my thing. I'm a historian. I'm not a
Yeah, here you are. All up in this case. All up in it.
person investigator on the ground. So for me, I was like, all right, not going to touch this. And then as you know, I was contacted by somebody who asked me to look into it, and that's how I got started. So for you, you're out in California, right?
Yeah.
So what
I live in California.
Primarily you're out in California. So what was it that brought you into this case in rural Tennessee?
Riley Strain. I was
Really?
an investigator for family on that case. Yeah.
Oh, so you worked with the Strain family?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. They brought me in. I was consulting with them while he was still missing, just as a search and rescue expert on potential areas to search, and we were I was working on calculating when he might surface if he was in the water based on water temps and his body weight and stuff, and where he might be. And it just so you know, I can hear you fine, but I don't know if it's on your end. The screen is going to your logo, and then when it goes back to you, it's frozen and back to your logo. But I can hear you fine.
On the software.
On what I'm seeing is like you're frozen right now,
Gotcha.
but I can hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with.
It might
no
be
problem.
the Wi-Fi. Yeah.
Aren't we?
No problem.
We're on
So,
Ethernet, but
I have no idea.
Yeah.
Computer's probably just working too hard.
Yeah.
It's got got 3 4K cameras rolling into it. This one's probably just overloading the system.
Yep.
Not a problem. I can hear. So I was on the Riley Strain case, and listen, I had no intention of getting involved in this case either, because my former PI partner, for lack of a better word, we didn't have an agency there, but we did all our cases together. She's based in Nashville. Mm-hmm. She was actually on the case. She was retained by staff, and she is an amazing investigator. And there's absolutely no reason for me to be involved. And one, I mean, she went to brought me in. She didn't need my help, and two, it'd be weird, like it just wasn't an option. I wasn't going, I hadn't talked to Chris or anything. Right. But what I was doing, just as a civilian, is I was putting on my Twitter some based off search and rescue, theory and analysis and planning, areas that I thought were search grids that were smart to search for Sebastian, based on some decision point analysis and whatnot. And through that, I did get some calls from various people that were close to the investigation, including people in law enforcement, and I talked to them, and then I concluded the Riley Strain case. I did a 293-page final report on that, and so a couple months ago, or it's been more than a couple months now, but one time when I had come out on one of the trips to Nashville, because I was going back and forth, I went out to Hendersonville at like 5:30 in the morning just to see the area. I just wanted to see it, and I realized how different it was from what I
wish I would have taken like timestamps, so we could just go to certain timestamps, but we might do that. We might just like flow through this.
And really,
some of it's redundant. And I can tell you everything they said.
That drone searching really wasn't a possibility, in those conditions, because it's just so thick and everything out there, and it kind of changed things. And through that, I got in touch with Chris.
And one more thing, I ain't gonna lie. If I know SF has a girlfriend and I have Vincent, we friends, me and SF just friends. But if he invited me to go lounge on one of them little lounge chairs out there in the back, I would. I don't know if there's a pool back there, but he lives in California. I can only imagine. It just looks really warm right now back there, and it's freezing here. So I keep looking at those lounge chairs like, oh, that just looks like fun.
Chris at one point. And Chris and I talked several times. He was very, rightfully so. I don't think he didn't know who to trust and whatnot. And we talked here and there. And then, I met with him on one of my other trips out there. We met he had me in his house. He said, just come to the house and let's sit down and talk. And that's kind of how it started. He didn't hire me there. But we started talking more. And then, as I came back, and I also have 2 other open cases in East Tennessee of 2 females that are Holly Bobo Act missing persons under TBI. So I'm there quite a bit, and through that, it ended up getting to the point where they decided that they wanted to bring me on board.
Gotcha. So when you say that you had spoken to law enforcement and just had some people reach out to you, were these Sumner County? Were these Nashville, TBI?
It was people that were involved in the search and rescue, and they just had it was somebody that had a question about why some of my grids were going, and it just had to do with more of a search theory based on lost person behavior. So it was not. I'll tell you, it was not one of the detectives. It was not the agents involved. It was just somebody involved in the search and rescue efforts, which they're an extension of law enforcement.
All right. So, well, when you say, was this one of like, there's, there'll be, like, trying to think of an exact example, but you've got organizations like United Cajun Navy, for example, that come in and they get involved. They might be requested by law enforcement. They're not actually a law enforcement organization.
An hour ago, man, I should have just stuck with my Idaho. An hour ago, they just put out a brand new thing about Kohlberger.
Were you who you were talking to? Were they like such and such county search and rescue?
Yeah, they were. No, they were the official search and rescue. No, United Cajun Navy. Just to be clear, I have nothing to do with.
Oh, I know you don't have any. I was just trying to go for example of like a private organization versus somebody, a county one.
Yeah, and I don't want to, I don't want to build too much on that one because there's not much to it besides there was people like reaching out, I think, to various experts. I mean, there's other large search and rescue operators around the country that have commented on this case on Twitter and stuff like that. And I think they interact with those people when it gets to be, there was a lot of teams involved in this. I mean, and when it gets to be that big of an effort and there's just nothing, like literally nothing to show for it, it's you start reaching out to other teams because all of our those models that we make, we build them on lost person behavior models. Those are all made from these algorithms through that. It's a program that went through the Department of Justice, just like NICMIC is the division of that are based on all the old search and rescue, all the old missions going back as far as you can go, put in these databases, all these variables. And now we have the ability to go in and key in, hey, we have a 15-year-old with autism. He's in this environment and this temperature. This is this mental mindset. It'll give us these. So
he does have that is true. He's actually showed me that before, like his maps, the way he maps things out. SF has it's kind of hard to understand when you first are looking at them. There's just a bunch of circles and then a bunch of lit up little spots. But when he actually tells you what what it means, then you're like, oh, okay. Cause the Chelsea Grim case, he helped me a lot with that case because he was out there searching and no local news was covering it. So I was getting all of my information pretty much from him because he was out there actually looking for her. So he would show me his search things, the diagrams and stuff. And how far they would search and what they would search. And he said, people, when they're lost, they'll, instead of walking straight in a straight line, they think they're walking straight, they're actually walking in an arc. It's very interesting. I know I'm kind of over this interview already. I'm about to fast forward a little bit.
Unbelievably accurate models, and
it is mind-boggling though.
It was 25, 15, 75% probability lines, of probability of detection and what those are. And in his case, I think it was 75% probability detection within 3.6 miles, and gives you how long the what the most likely scenario to find them in is. And that's what I tweeted the whole tactical report on that too. It wasn't anything secretive or anything.
Gotcha. All right. So that's all very helpful to know and understand. Yeah. I just want to, there's, like I said, there's been a lot of people claiming that you haven't even talked to law enforcement or that these people don't know who you are. And then, I see that and I'm like, all right, well, who knows what here?
So let me be clear on that. So although I have a very good working relationship with TBI in my other cases, and in this case, I'm not trying. So when I came into this case, I wish I knew the exact date. It's only been 3 months, 4 months. This case was law enforcement wanted nothing to do with anybody in this case. You know what I mean? It was burned to the ground. They were like, we don't want any part of what's going on online. They're not, so they're shut down, and I don't try to communicate with them. I don't. So no. Am I working side by side with law enforcement in this case? No, and I'm not trying to either. I don't.
Okay, we're 17 minutes in. I'm going up a little bit because I feel like they don't talk about nothing until the middle of it anyway. Did I really watch that whole thing? I did. I watched 2.5 hours of that.
One was that the dog, to my understanding, scent tracker dogs specifically, okay. I don't think there were any cadaver dogs brought into the house. And then obviously cadaver dogs and scent tracker dogs aren't always the same thing.
Right.
But my understanding is that there were never any scent tracking dogs that were able to identify a path leading from the house away.
So
I know there was one dog, Max, but he was around a street dog, right?
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah. There's a couple conflicting stories about that. And I'll be honest, I don't know 100% what the real one is. I'll tell you as I understand it. So originally I heard it like everybody else heard it, that Max, because from the dispatch audio, Max's handler, he's on scene, and then all of a sudden Max is on set and Max is in the retention pond, right? So, and then we'd heard that, and I do know that there were a few dogs, and now these were scent specific dogs. So Max is not scent specific. Max is a he'll pick even air scent dogs. So he'll pick up anybody, he's just looking for the strongest scent. Now, scent specific, meaning they have taken a scent article from Sebastian. So a trained handler will go in there with a paper bag and collect a scent article, usually a pillowcase or underwear or socks or something. And then they'll scent the dog, and then the dog will, be nose down and as opposed to up in the air like an air scent. And we'll try and trail that. And so there was dogs that went out the front door.
I learned through this case about the different types of like dogs, like tracking dogs. I didn't realize that there were different ones, like cadaver dogs. They're talking about air sniffing dogs, article sniffing dogs. I didn't know that until this case. I mean, maybe I was a little bit ignorant on it, but I didn't know.
To the left, along the fence line. So it would be along the fence line, but there's a house over there, and then back up the fence line, kind of like it was coming back, and then cuts across the neighbor's yard where there's no fence. So from that point, now that's what was visualized of the canines doing. Okay, so you can assume that's what they're doing. Now from there, once they're out of eyesight, we don't know, but we thought that they went up Kellen and also tracked to the retention pond. However, in the last month, things have changed as far as that goes, because I've got all the surveillance footage. I can see these are not like detection cameras. These were 24-hour rolling cameras, so I can see everything goes on. Now Max is driven up in an SUV to the construction site, and then he gets out. He actually goes to one of the neighbors' yards for a second, and they're just kind of like working around. He does end up on the other end over the retention pond. Then about 2 p.m., the first bloodhound, which is, I'm going to say, the first search and rescue dog that I see anyways, comes up. Now, I thought the search and rescue dog came up Kellen and, then right into the construction area, but that's not what happened. The bloodhound actually came up, was already from down below, was already inside the new development and was walking along the fence line that separates the two, and walked all the way up to the top, essentially parallel with Kellen, but it was clear it was not on he was not on.
So it's pretty much like the tracking dogs, like the people that had the tracking dogs went to the construction site. Instead of letting the dogs lead them there, they took the dogs there almost. Do you know what I mean?
I said he does deviate. There's one area where he deviates hard left 90 degrees and goes down a hill. I'd like to know more about that. But then the handler, then they leave, and then they're at the top, and then you don't see them again. So they didn't go over to the retention pond. And I also on the Sartopo maps can see the tracking lines of the canines, and none of them confirm each other. They crisscross lines and stuff. So I don't have much faith left in the that there was any true canine. I think Max picked up a scent. I just don't think it was Sebastian's.
Gotcha. So you would agree then that there's no confirmed scent trail from the house to anywhere else?
Absolutely.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So
and I will people that are because I know there's a lot of confusion, or I'll talk about the canines. All the canines came from a separate area. None of them tracked the same thing. You could tell they were all looking for. So it was very disappointing, to be honest with you, because it's like, oh, they don't have anything.
Right. So I guess the next logical question there would be, you've seen these camera angles. You said you had hundreds of hours of the surveillance footage.
Over
100 hours. But did any of these cameras show the exits from the Proudfoot home?
No. Oh, wait, sorry, that particular camera. I'm sorry. Yes. The bigger camera we're talking about, the canine.
I'm talking about just in general, like any of the angles.
So there's a camera across the street, and there's also a camera right behind them.
Right.
So I do have now, the one across the street, those people didn't know how to export their footage. And so I sat down. So what they did is they didn't know how to export all the footage. So they went through, they took out clips of it, and they also took some screen grabs of things they thought was important after going back and forth and or after scrubbing through all the footage, because I sat down with them for like 2 hours. What they said was that TBI, their footage was set to overwrite after 10 days, and nobody had come and collected their footage. They're right across the street. They're right across the street. By far away, the most important camera there is by far. And they had come and seen a couple things, but they had not taken the footage. And so they went to the command center. The husband did, and he said, "Listen, take this footage. It's going to overwrite tonight." So they finally did take it, but they also didn't. They don't have the raw footage back. So they gave me what they have, and it's a lot, and it has all the because there's, even though it's continuous rolling, it does also pick up have detections like the tracking and stuff like that. So anytime a car comes in up and down that road, it picks it up. Anytime their lights at the Providence turn on, if they come, anybody comes in and out of the driveway, their place, whatever it may be, those are detected. And so I have that, and there's also a house behind.
Right. So just to clarify really quickly, so they were able to get you the still images and the clips. But the TBI has. But the TBI was able to get the full footage.
TBI has the actual hard, well, not the hard drive. It was cloud based. But yeah, they have all the masters.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And can you see the front of the Proudfoot's property, like the front door?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So from what you've seen, is there any point at which anybody appears to enter or exit the home from the footage you've seen?
Well, yeah. I mean, keep in mind, it's it's footage from over a couple days. So yeah, definitely,
Well, I guess the night in question then.
That night, no, well, they arrived home, and so I will say the one, like I said, they went through and they checked all their footage and they took out what they saw, and they captured what they saw. But what they didn't get, and what they admit they just missed, is when they heard that there was footage of Sebastian taking the trash can out. That was news. They were surprised to hear that because they didn't see that. And so what the husband told me was, sitting with him at the dinner table, he said, he said, I didn't know if they were being real about that or not. And he's like, I went to the command center and I said, listen, I've given you all my footage and I'm just going to ask you one question. And he's like, but I really need to know this because this is my neighbor and I just want to know for my own sanity, like, did you really see Sebastian on that footage or not? And they told him absolutely. And so I believe them. I don't think they're and keep in mind, Seth and everybody has said that that they agree. So, but I have not seen that. Just to be clear, I've not seen him taking the trash can out. There was.
But he's saying that there is a video of him supposedly taking the trash out. So in the live, I said something like, because people were like, why'd they check the landfill? That was like stupid, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, that's a precaution that they were going to do. Oh, I got chewed out for that. Chewed out for saying that. Is that where you think he is? I was like, did I say that?
There was some I could see, which is important to me, and I'm not going to.
I wish the live chat would have loaded. I'm about to refresh the page because I'll go to another page and see if it's on there yet because it was pure gold.
There's going to be some things I can't say. I'm just going to tell you front, but can't give out all the details for the integrity of the investigation. But there's times when you see the lights go off or on or and whatnot. So that's all detectable. It's a very clear shot of the house.
But so what I'm hearing though is that at the very least the TBI should have an angle on the entrances and exits of the home for the full night.
They do, and they have the back of the house.
Got it. So
okay. 226.
On or in whatnot. So
let's see if I can look at this chat.
It's a very clear shot of the house.
But so what I'm hearing though is that at the very least the TBI should have an angle on the entrances and exits of the home for the full 100%. The full night.
Wish you guys
they do.
The chat
and they
better.
have the back of the house too.
Got it. So that's incredibly interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like any question about somebody entering or exiting the home,
it
should be
the TBI knows.
Answered by that. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. No, they have all that for sure. Now, I will say too that just because they have the footage that would show the front door does not mean that with the lights off in the house that you would see the front door open. It is incredibly dark in the neighborhood.
Is not a night vision camera.
No.
Got it.
No. Well, it's set to auto. It was set to auto mode, so it wasn't detecting. So what it was, it's set up for their front.
These people are ruthless in the comments. I mean, half these people. Actually, I'm gonna say 100% of these people that are talking shit on SF, they couldn't do his job. First and foremost. Second off, stop playing his content. If you're so against him, stop using his content.
Okay, and they have lights like planter lights on their porch. I'm talking about the house across, it's shooting from. So,
and I'll tell you who we got in there right now. We got Justin from Clutch Them Pearls with his little Remy Pearl, BJ, Deception Detective. I've never watched him and I never will. That War Damn Eagle, she had to get another channel, or because their first channel got taken down because they didn't use fair use. They clipped people. I forget who else was in there at this time. Let me keep looking.
It's lighting for that. It's not caring.
And look at Angel making a good point. Angel over here saying Ellie doesn't need to tell us anything. Great point.
Right. And so we tested this. The family there was nice enough to let us into their house and overtake their system and run tests and stuff. And we had somebody
momming it up. K9 Jules.
People walking out, and the FBI did this as well too, just so you guys know. But just walk out of the house and see if we could detect it on the monitor at all, and we couldn't. It's that dark in the neighborhood.
Got it. So I guess then to be 100% sure, it sounds like from what you're saying, and would you be able to release any of that footage, any of those tests? Just to put people's minds at ease about it, be like, no, really, you can't tell. Like, even if it's just a quick video of somebody walking out of the home.
Listen, I would have to ask, and I'll just be honest, because the way that
they don't owe you that. Did he just say, well, Kate, what? I missed that the first time, I think. He wants them, Katie and Chris, to take a video of themselves walking out of the house. Who do you think you are? Like, really? Like, seriously, dude? You were in a maid's outfit, like, walking around like you're a little weird on the weird side.
People have just trampled over the prophets. They don't owe anybody any favors, and in this, and they don't care about like winning anybody's. At this point, they truly.
Of course not. Bullhorn Betty said, "Go put on your snake boots and get out there and search for somebody. You're supposed to be searching for these kids you advocate for. You've never searched for one of them. None of them. You've never searched for none of them."
Whether people believe it or not, they just want Sebastian found, and so I don't think they're gonna give anybody any favors like that. I'll ask, but I wouldn't count on it, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would just put it this way, that there's a lot of people out there. From what I can tell, the majority of people are looking at them as suspects. Something like that, at the very least, would
deception detectives trying to get up on panel. He said, if I went up on panel, what is it? It will empty. What? Like, I don't even get what that means.
Put people's minds at ease that they're not hiding something here. That, you really, if you look at that footage, you really can't see anybody coming out of that house, whether somebody is or not. I think that would probably help a lot of people to maybe get past another reason that they're suspicious.
Yeah, and I get that, but I also see it from their end. But I will say, I know that I saw interview or two, I think, where with Seth's old PIs, where he had multiple PIs, and they said too that they knew, they were aware that the FBI had run these same tests, and in fact, the FBI test wasn't just for that camera, but it was to see if any of the cameras would detect him if he walked a certain route. And in fact, I know when some of the PIs like watching on when that was happening. So I mean, I'll ask, but I can't, there's got to be some faith in the fact that FBI TBI, and I think they've probably sent this footage. I'm sure they've sent this footage to the FBI crime lab, which any agency is allowed to use for enhancement. And I think because it's an Amber Alert, if there was an image of him, I think they would have released something. I could be wrong, strategy wise, but I just don't think. I mean, well, let me back that up. From that camera, it's hard because I go back and forth. I don't think that he's caught on that camera at all, but I do. In the last week, I do believe that they have something of him. Listen, I'll be honest with you. We have something from after midnight of a person we can't identify. I don't know if it's him. I'm not starting to remember, but so I think they might be in the same situation where there might be other cameras that we don't know about.
Can I ask, is this the
that deception detective? What's his background? Does anyone know what his background is? Like his schooling, his background, his work, all that? Like, I mean, was he a real detective? And was he a detective for a month? Because he's so young, takes you a long time to get to rank to detective. I'm just kind of curious. I didn't know if you guys knew.
So-called flashlights video, or
No.
is this something else?
Oh, to be an
Something
attorney.
else.
Okay, so is it just an unidentified person walking past?
I don't believe it. I've heard him talk for like 2 seconds. I don't know. The poker glasses. It says a lot.
Through the property.
It's a person but because they're wearing very dark clothing and because the light, it looks like I don't know if you saw.
I would not let him be my attorney.
Do you remember under the bridge when there was people walking by, but so opaque you could barely see the person. So it's like that, but it's clearly a person. There's no doubt about it, but there's no way you could identify who that person is. But based on the time and the place, it's like, there's only so many people it could be, really.
Yeah,
I want to see his license.
Especially with where that neighborhood is. It's a development.
Right.
Like there's no passing through that neighborhood to get somewhere else. If you're in that neighborhood, you're in that neighborhood to be there.
Yeah.
So it would have to be you would expect it to be somebody who lives there, especially if they're out
So why isn't he practicing law if he's a lawyer?
walking late at night.
Does
So
he do
The
both?
quick follow-up I have to that is, did you see any unusual or notable vehicles in any of the footage?
I do want to get to that in just a second. There's just one last thing I wanted to clarify with this video you're talking about, which I assume if it becomes relevant for the public to know, you would release it, right?
So not necessarily, because listen, I can bring that up and say, listen, this things that there's maybe some hope or something, but that's something that is for investigators, law enforcement, private investigators on the case. The public's not entitled to that. There's no reason to give that, because what happens is, look what happened look what happens whenever we release anything. They go to find out who these people are. They dox.
That's not even okay. All right. Hold on. Hold on. I just did this for 2 seconds. I don't know this deception detective or whatever. Okay. But when you go to his About Me, right in the thing, it says, I'm an attorney trained in statement analysis. I just looked up, are statement analysis lawyers? Are they lawyers? And they says, no. It's not a specific legal professional title. But lawyers can utilize statement analysis as a tool. So I don't know. I think there's something up with that. I don't know. That's a weird profession to have, and I'd like to have that one. Like, what is he, like a human lie detector? That sounds like a show.
Look at the green hoodie person. I mean, geez, it puts that person's life in danger. So I can't do that. There's no way. I mean, there's been times when I've released footage when it's been good to release footage because it's like, hey, there's proof, and then people help. But then lately, this cast of characters in these cases, there is absolutely no way I'm going to let some of these people, be able to see that, because it puts the person in harm's way.
So
they'll be in that part of the neighborhood, knocking on people's doors, demanding things.
Yeah, I don't. And just to be clear, I think that's not the way to go about things.
Without a doubt.
I mean,
I got some red flags actually.
We've sat down and we've talked to parents of missing kids. We have talked to parents of murdered kids, and we've all the goal is to be respectful about it. You start that conversation over in writing. You send them over something. You're like, hey, I'd like to talk to you about this. Would you be available? And that's how we ended up talking with Tommy Booth's parents.
Yep.
Met them all.
We would never just go like, I can find where they live. I'm not just going to go knock on their door like, hey.
Yeah. No need for truth serum when I've got all these red flags. We just, every time they say something, we're going to stick one in. Because these are going to be done in a minute.
Yeah.
Can I ask you about your dead son?
Yeah. There's a level of respect that's necessary in these kinds of situations,
which is why we've avoided true crime for most of our content.
Yeah.
It just has such it so easily becomes drama content. That's not what you want.
Yeah,
exactly. So right before we get into I think the vehicles question is good, because I definitely want to know about that as well. This footage you do have that shows this person, are they walking? Is it like, are they walking along the street? Do they seem to be cutting through a backyard? Like,
there's B10 donated.
They come down a street. When I say down, I don't want people are going to think I'm talking downhill and stuff. But they come one way on the street, and then they pause for a while, and then they go back the way they came from. And then unfortunately, there's like some they're on the street on the along the edge of the street, walking along with it. But then there's like some trees that kind of and then you lose them. And then there is other camera angles that, but I can't see them. It's really frustrating. We don't see them again on any of the exits. So on the, not exit, but on any of the reverse angles. And we have, myself and an analyst, been going over this. And we have spent day and night over and over. It's really frustrating because it's just like poof, they're gone, and we didn't even catch this person until maybe the fourth pass through. It's so faint, and we've enhanced it somewhere. It's a little bit more visible, but because there's actually another person that we've accounted for that's walking a dog, and so they're kind of like, kind of had our focus on there, but it looks like but they're not with this person because we've talked to the other person. So.
Right. So I guess, the next question there will be the vehicles. There was obviously this thing about 2 flashlights outside. There was a garbage truck. There was the fact that the camera had the wrong timestamp on it. Like all of these different issues with some of these cameras that showed.
We got Bullhorn Betty in the chat. I forgot to tell you about her. She's in the chat.
Vehicles. There was, I guess, an Uber that came through the neighborhood. There was a red car that people are like, well, why won't you release what you know about these individuals? I see where you're coming from with the, well, I don't want to dox people thing. But at the same time, did any of these vehicles that you saw, did any of them stop by the Proudfoot house? Did any of them linger in the neighborhood? Like, was there any suspicious activity?
No, they didn't. So, the Uber, the only reason that I showed the Uber clearly, well, there's a couple of reasons to show that. One, that it's been known about the Uber was there for a long time. And I think even the gentleman who got the Uber to go to the airport had put it on Facebook in the first day or two that he's like, oh, I had an Uber come at 3:30 in the morning. So that had been known. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't a neighbor. Not a neighbor. It was somebody in the neighborhood. It was somebody on Kellen.
It was basically someone that was at someone's house for a booty call or something, and he left to go to the airport the next morning. I don't know, but that's what I took it as, because the person didn't live in the area, or the man or female. I don't know who it was, but they were staying in the area. I don't know. It was just a little weird. So we'll put red flag them for that, because that's a little weird. And you either live there or you don't, right? Just visiting. They went to the airport next morning. That's what you could have said.
So I wasn't afraid to put that out. However, the other vehicle,
this deception detective, this needs to be done like a deposition. We've got the Lore Lounge. He's not freaking Ellie. And SF isn't on the chopping block. I haven't heard a single straight answer yet. So bizarre. You're freaking bizarre.
Which I can listen. I know nobody wants to take my word for it, but I can promise you, the car is not foreign to.
Illuminati just donated 100.
The neighborhood, it's known, and they.
Huh? How about that? So far, we got B Tim with the 100. We got Clue with the 100. Someone else did 100. That was, I think, part of the red team is what I'm going to call them. Red team. So how about that? The people that are these hate channels, these monsters, they're in here actually donating to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. When they could put a fundraiser up on their own damn page and take their own $100 and put it towards the fundraiser on their own live, and that would make them look a little bit better than this. So that's very nice of them.
Very nice. They are not. That's not. If that person.
I don't either.
I know people try to find out who that is and whatnot, and they go after them. And this person, quite honestly, this person probably has no idea that people are trying to figure out. What car that is and stuff. It has nothing to do with anything. Unfortunately, keep in mind, we want to
DHB, you're a mean-spirited person. Oh, that CJK said that. I read the comment before the name. That's so awesome, CJK. She is.
The clue. So it's disappointing to us as
well. So right.
When none of these things are connecting.
So you say that this person, that this vehicle is not foreign to the neighborhood. Are you then saying that the vehicle is commonly in the neighborhood, but is not owned by someone in the neighborhood?
That'd be fair to say. Okay. Yeah.
Is this a game? Is this a damn game show? I'm putting 2 in for both of them. Is this literally like you ask the question and then you twist it a little bit? Oh, okay. So was he wearing a blue shirt? Well, I wouldn't say it was blue, but and then they're like, well, then was it a black shirt? Like, I mean, like, seriously, what is this?
It's think of it like.
Do you know who the owner is?
It's like the person that called me a mean girl. Come on now, you know what you want to call me. Just call me it if that's what you want to call me.
Owner of the vehicle is.
I've been called worse.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You were saying something. I don't want to cut you off.
Think of it as like there's daily. Like people that come in Ubers and stuff like that.
I haven't seen my name yet, but I know I was chatting.
Amazon deliveries or whatever it may be. But you have this you have the same type of, person for the neighborhood, so it's a known person, but not necessarily a resident.
So is this somebody with any known connection?
Muscles
to
and
the football?
Mascaras hangs out in BJ's
No,
chat.
no.
Okay.
She donated
So
100.
not a family member, not a friend. All right. So I guess
no.
that's.
Yeah.
Is this
I mean,
somebody?
keep in mind, there's a construction site next door. There's a lot of work going on. And I know that it's a weird time of morning, but there's still, things that there's still, workers and whatnot. It's not a worker from the construction area. It's I don't want to say, it's hard to say. It's a person that is in that neighborhood, in and out, several times a week, and it's a known person, and there's nothing, absolutely zero to it whatsoever, nefarious.
All right. So I mean,
Nothing nefarious.
Regarding the night, is there anything else you think is relevant to bring up?
I think it.
I know Seth said that the garbage truck issue was a non-issue as well.
Yeah.
Which part? Which issue?
He had said at some point that he's seen the full footage from that that, like, the full angle, not the zoomed in one that the news got. And basically said that, like, it's not, that car doesn't seem to have anything to do with the home that evening.
So there's still confusion about, as far as I'm concerned, I don't.
Who the heck donates $199? Why not just 200? I don't know. That just is weird to me, but that's really nice of that girl to do that.
Know why. So I don't believe. I think people might be confused about they're calling the lights video. Like, we put out an analysis on it that we did on it using AI and stuff, and I think that people might be confused of what I'm saying on that, because I think I'm agreeing with what they're saying.
Oh, okay. I like this comment. Well, where'd it go? Funny thing is, SF is the only one actually putting out info. Rest of y'all just recycle his info and twist it. That's the truth.
I don't believe that's a trash truck, and like law enforcement's insisting that's a trash truck. That's not a trash truck. And the light video is not a trash truck. So,
in his opinion, because Seth says it is a trash truck.
There's some confusion because the timestamp was broke, as you said, it was stuck on that camera. So at like 3 something in the morning. People watch it again, watch the upper left corner when it pans across it, that you'll see it's not moving at all. So you got to just forget about that 3 a.m. for a minute. That, and be open to, it could be any time during night hours, right? And so with the owner, now we went and did some recreation tests.
SF didn't have to do this damn interview. He ain't getting paid for this, right? This guy right here, he has almost 17,000 views on this video. He's going to make money. SF is not. But then you have this whole chat over here just attacking the shit out of them, and you have his mods doing nothing about it. He is a guest on your channel, Lore Lodge Aiden. You should have more respect for yourself and your channel and for your guest. I don't know how you made it up to 600,000 people, but you have no damn respect. Because you're going to hear him say on this, and you're going to hear him say, do we have any super chats? And the guy says, no, we're doing a fundraiser tonight, which you could still get super chats and do a fundraiser. And so he wasn't going to take any questions. He only takes questions from people that pay him super chats. So, yeah, you want to ask me a question? You better start paying it all up. I'm just kidding. But I'm like, I could not believe he said that. He actually said it. You know what? I'm going to give him credit. At least he said it.
Two or three nights we did there. The owner was extremely gracious and let everybody on the property. And he said, and I'm going to take them at their word. There's no reason not to. He said that, again, he didn't. This was an old school camera. It had its own server. He did not know how to export the footage. TBI actually physically took the server from him, but
someone said take a nap, Brittany. I don't even think she's in the chat. I know she got a membership.
He said that
she bought one.
Watched it. He knows it was about a little after 5 a.m. in the morning. The reason he knows it is because right after what we see, which is keep in mind that's somebody using a cell phone to record the computer monitor while it's playing. He said right after that, where they cut off, the trash truck turns right onto Stafford and the frame. Well, we know that the trash truck was in front of the Proudfoot home at 5:12 a.m. And I disclosed that to kind of give people something to go off and say, listen, so if we're going to believe the owner of the house, then that's, that's.
I don't know why Julia or whatever, she thinks that people even care about her or her damn dogs, because no one does. Oh, look at this. Oh, look at this. Would you look at this? Would you look at this? BJ, I love you guys. It's okay. I didn't even know this. I knew she was in the chat, but I wasn't paying attention to her. Please don't defend me. I'm not paying any of the trolls. I hate people who use that word. Attention. We will talk on the live tonight.
More the time frame,
So I guess, well, then maybe I'm just misunderstanding, but then it sounds like it was the trash truck.
I'm sorry. Because I explained, I thought this is how we started talking on first. So the thing is that, so when we were doing those recreation tests,
that's one, buddy.
We had already done the analysis of the lights themselves based on that video. And that's basically just measuring every pixel and seeing, even though the person's recording it with a shaky hand, even if they're doing that, if there's like two mounted lights, like say on tail lights, they're going to stay the same distance from each other, no matter what's going on. So we start, and that goes for, whether it be vertical or horizontal. Well, what we found was that those were deviating. So those were two separate light sources.
So
and
those are not one vehicle.
No, they're not. And so, and also the color temperature and the AI being able to actually determine a shape based on what pixels were being used or not, didn't match up with taillights. So what the AI was telling us is that one of them was
what is it?
Anchored, and the other was moving and was very likely a flashlight, which gave us a lot of hope that maybe that was Sebastian. And then it was just kind of like dumb luck. As they're doing this test, the cameras are rolling, and a light starts moving across the monitor, and it's a guy taking his trash down, and his trash down from an elevated driveway. And I was not there, but the rest of the people went and talked to him, and he said that morning that he had forgotten to take his trash out, and he had heard the trash trucks, and with a flashlight took his garbage can, wheeled it down to the curb. And
I believe that neighbor. I don't know. I believe that story. That story sounds plausible to me.
So that we believe,
like you're taking your trash down before work, or you forgot to do it the night before, or you hear the trash truck because they're so freaking loud in the mornings. You're about to wake up for work anyway, and you're like, "Oh crap, forgot to take the trash out." Especially if wifey finds out, you forgot to take trash out or something.
You can't say for certain. We believe that's much more likely. That's probably what that light is. But I definitely do not. I know that's not. They'll never convince me that was a trash truck for sure.
Gotcha. All right. Yeah, I think that clears a lot up about that.
Yeah.
So I think where I'd like to go next with this, because I think that covers most of the questions I had about that evening. That
pancakes. I saw your comment. SF has more experience than you, Betty.
Aren't related to the things the Proudfoots have said and Seth Rogers. So one thing that I've heard a lot of, and I want to get your take on it, is I've heard a lot of people say, and some people have cited you as the source for this, that there are 2 hours where Seth Rogers can't be accounted for that evening. My understanding is that there's like 20 minutes where he was on break using the restroom or something that he's not on camera, but that for the most part of that night, his alibi is confirmed.
Oh, Brittany doesn't think that the lights cross a massive amount of area. It's not a man walking down his driveway. You can't be serious. He just said it was 2 different instances, 2 different things. Open up your ears.
I've never said that about Seth. And in fact, I've heard that, but I've never even tried to check with his employer or anything to see if if there was
Nancy said, "Can I get a
rumor of the
packet?"
gap in time, but I don't believe that. To be honest.
So as far as you're aware,
I'm not the source of that. They'd never be able to get me, source me on that.
Okay, cool. So like I said, my only goal here is setting the record straight.
No, I appreciate that you're asking the question so people know that like there's some stuff's been attributed to me. People just throw things out there, and it's not true. I've never ever said that Seth was unaccounted for.
All right, gotcha. So another Seth issue, something that I've heard you cited on, actually is with regards to him and Katie and how their relationship began. Obviously, there's this, I think, 9-year age gap between them.
Yeah, I think,
something along those lines. But
yes,
obviously, Katie's much younger. She had Sebastian when she was 18, 19 maybe. So one thing that I've heard is that basically the allegation that for lack of a better term, Seth groomed her from the time that she was 12 or 13. And then there's even been these allegations that they were having an intimate relationship before she was 18. Obviously, that's a pretty huge allegation to make. So I guess my question there is that something that, would you say that their relationship began when she was a minor?
Let's see what the chat says now.
So what's your evidence for that claim?
Yes, I have said that, and I stand by that. And keep in mind, I speak with the source directly. You know what I mean? And I have no reason not to believe her. Seth's also confirmed this. Seth, I've got a screenshot right here on my computer of him in T-Rev's chat saying that Sebastian was the first child they had that wasn't aborted, and and he'd spoken before about how there was 2 previous abortions, and there's no way to have 2 abortions and then have a baby or get pregnant.
Oh, someone said allegedly with Brittany J. grifting creators, new law going through Congress. Bill HR 8866, your life is about to change. And I know that old Trumpy, I saw him signing some stuff, and he was signing stuff about the free speech though, but I don't know about that.
At 18, and listen,
he was signing a lot of stuff.
I don't want Sebastian to get lost again in this, right? But I will say that listen,
this case has gotten so out of control that subscribers are changing their names just to match their favorite creator.
The relationship before she was 18. That's just the long and short of it. And I don't know why he would go down that route, because he knows that can be proven. But I don't say about it. I don't want Sebastian to get lost in it. But if people just do the math, just based on what he has said,
I just donated another 100.
It's pretty evident. Now, listen, it's people have dug into their backgrounds, and they know that Katie has had a traumatic life, and so that might have been her best option, sadly enough, and I don't want to say anything more than that, but he's not the angel, you know what I mean, that people are saying, and she's just Katie's getting run over, and it just breaks my heart sometimes, because people don't understand that, or people I think do understand, but they just don't seem to care. A lot of them,
they don't care
of the situation.
It's all about money. Do you think that those creators that go live about Sebastian's case or Sebastian's drama every single day, twice a day sometimes, do you think that they would do that if they had less than 100 people in their chat? Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. Not a chance in hell. And someone fight me on that, because no, they wouldn't.
And again, I don't think it needs to be about
they'd be freaking out
that right now. I think it needs to be about Sebastian, and without.
Only reason why we're covering this at all is because it's an interview and it was ridiculous. And I thought we were going to learn something actually when FSF was going on there. before I made the thumbnail. And then I even told Vince, I said, damn, I regret making that thumbnail.
Being this like, okay, only one set of the
We
parents
learn
has
a
gotta be
little, but,
guilty
you know.
and the other isn't. I don't know why can't we just find Sebastian first? Sebastian,
Yes.
whether he's alive or not alive, we'll tell the story of what happened, right?
This is very important, what he says right here.
The other isn't. I don't know why can't we just find Sebastian first? Sebastian, whether he's alive or not alive, we'll tell the story of what happened, right?
Mhm.
And so why do we have to convict the person now? Why do we have to it's not our job anyways to build a case for law enforcement. They're, we're talking about TBI and
people are calling him a liar.
FBI, with the help of FBI. We can't do better than them, right? So what we can do though is we can help find Sebastian, and hopefully, I wish we could keep it at that. I don't know why we got to because what if we're wrong? Like, what if
we are.
people are wrong? And
They
how
are.
do you ever apologize for that? How do you ever?
They won't apologize. They'll move on to the next case and they'll delete these videos. Come on, SF. You've been in this game since Kylie Rodney. You know how it goes.
Like, make it right that you accused these parents of this horrendous.
We
thing,
are not wrong, born, Betty said.
So.
Yeah, I mean, I see.
Go
where
to
you're coming
jail,
from there. I
Betty.
think what I would counter with, obviously, that I suspect Chris and Katie had something to do with this. What I would counter with there is that if this was foul play, then the chances you're going to find Sebastian drastically drop. It goes from he's like,
I don't know why they talk about Chris marriages when Dog the Bounty Hunter's been married one more time than Chris has.
You said he's probably within 0.7 miles of the house. To he could be in Memphis, he could be in Virginia, he could be in Kentucky. He could be at the bottom of the river for anybody knows. So I think that's
why are you going to put him there?
At least that's why I'm sitting here going, all right, well, what makes foul play look possible? So that's why I'm trying to get the bottom of some of these things. And obviously, like that's with Chris and Katie. If he feels slighted, then that could potentially be motive. At the same time, there could
be Katie and Seth.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
If Seth feels slighted, then that could potentially be motive. In the
I think
same way
Chris.
that if Chris feels like for some reason or another Sebastian is a problem, he might have motive to do something about it.
This is weird. I think he did that wrong.
Kind of an understanding. So, but just come back really quickly to what you said about stuff Seth has said. Was it that do you have the screenshot? Like, could you share it?
Can you play the video of him acting like he was, getting off on Brittany's panel?
Yeah.
If you use the share screen function? Yeah.
Well, I don't want to share. Can I email it?
You can email it over to us.
Okay, we're going to fast forward this a little bit because he's emailing. Then they talk to each other for a second.
This is something I've been trying to nail down. The morning of the report, my understanding is that
hear how he says that the morning of the report.
Katie goes to check in on Sebastian. He's not in bed. She then goes downstairs to see if maybe he's making
There's no downstairs.
Breakfast. He's not downstairs. She looks
what?
around.
This is a ranch style home. This ain't a tri-level, bi-level. This is a one level. Is he on rugs?
The house. He's not there.
Am I on rugs?
Chris then calls the sheriff's department.
Is there a second floor that I don't know about?
Yeah, so there's not it's not downstairs. It's a ranch style house.
Well,
so
yeah, I guess my understanding was that it was kind of like a little bit of a split level almost, but
no, but yeah. So I'm sorry.
A little bit of a split level, like what, like a 4-inch step at like the Idaho house?
So yeah, so there was that,
or like a full thing of stairs.
He's not there, and then what you say? She calls Chris.
Mm-hmm. Chris calls.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on, who's Opal? Opal must be saying something to what Julia.
Yeah, sure. So my understanding was that she searches the house, doesn't find Sebastian. She calls Chris. Chris calls county dispatch, and then they send out either a deputy or a Hendersonville PD officer.
Well, there was also
so they called him they called on 3-way call together.
Mm-hmm. So at that, and then if you listen to the dispatch call,
wow,
they
this
say
chat
that
is
Katie
crazy.
is
Where am I
driving
at?
around looking for Sebastian, correct?
Yes.
So
yeah.
So Katie left the house in the vehicle before any officers arrived.
Yes.
Okay.
She did.
Got it.
She did. I will say, because I know what you're, rightfully, or, smart to think about. I will say that because of the placement of the various cameras, and there not being that many streets in that development, you can see her like driving these grids essentially. She's never off camera in the car for more than 20, 25 seconds. Like she'll go up straight and then come down. And so I'm confident there, wouldn't be time to get rid of somebody, if you will.
Didn't she also head out east towards Gallatin at one point that morning?
Not that I know of. No.
I'll have to revisit that because you watched the documentary we did earlier today.
But she's a pro with this case. Oh, let me revisit my notes because I think that's what it's going to say. No, Katie didn't go nowhere.
I can't remember if it was her going out during that search or if it was Chris going out later in the day. But
one of them did drive out towards Gallatin.
Yeah, somebody went out towards Gallatin to look because there was a specific tie there that you had mentioned in the
that when Seth was going.
80, but I don't know for sure.
So there was two specific sightings that were called in, I think, from law enforcement. There was one of a kid wearing a black hoodie that was like walking along a road, and then there was somebody that was flying a drone that spotted a kid. So maybe
Aiden, you're so professional to be on your phone. I know you're looking at notes, but why didn't you have them like maybe written out? Sitting there on your phone looks so unprofessional. I'm just, in my opinion.
And listen, I don't know. Once law enforcement got there, I don't know their movements. And I know that at one point, I know that Chris was riding around with TBI looking, and then
off of this.
But I don't know their exact movements. So I know that Chris and Seth together, I think for a couple of days, actually rode around searching together before things kind of broke down.
Yeah, I'm just looking through the
notes
for this. I don't remember exactly what it was. That
interesting that he was losing subscribers before he got onto this case.
We had discovered on that end. Max led into the retaining pond several hours. Yeah, I know that there was something out in Gallatin. I just can't remember the exact details about it. But yeah, so all right, good to know. So there's no point that you've seen where she leaves that neighborhood?
Well, she I mean, it says, I think I don't see her on the camera over there, but I think she left to go over to the school, which is
very nearby,
2 blocks, whatever, over. But other than that, no.
Gotcha. So this is another whereabouts question that I think is important because it's definitely come up many times. And I struggled back when we started our coverage in July. Something that I was struggling to find a law enforcement source on, but I was able to find news media, private investigators. I think Seth's private investigator, Heather.
Yeah,
Heather.
Yeah, I was wrong. Sorry about that.
She had said that she confirmed Chris was in Memphis
not much better.
That entire night, but I was unable to find a law enforcement source confirming that. Has law enforcement established that Chris Proudfoot was in Memphis the whole night?
Yes, and I mean, and that is something that, again, you're going to have to kind of have some trust in, because they're not going to come out and say it, but keep in mind that there's cameras. So the project he's working on is a multi-billion-dollar project, right? So there's cameras there. There's cameras at his campground where, because he stays in a trailer while he's at work. There's cameras there, and there's YouTubers that are watching this right now that know there's cameras there because they've been caught on those cameras and they know it, snooping around. And the owners of the campground area that have those cameras have confirmed they turned that over to the FBI, I believe it was FBI or TBI. And some other things are that, his vehicle Chris's vehicles Wi-Fi enabled. It also has OnStar. Those are all things that and their phones. So people that watched the Murdoch trial, which I didn't really follow that case, but I did watch the part when the testimony about the Cellbrite analysis, and it's incredible what they can do with the Cellbrite analysis. And I've been lucky enough, or I've taken some courses through Cellbrite, and it's shocking. And so immediately in Seth's too, they went and collected everybody's electronics, and they cloned those, and they ran Cellbrites on them, so they know exactly where the devices were, they know where the vehicles were, they see them on surveillance. So if Chris had said that he was in Memphis at that job site, and they found out he wasn't, he'd be arrested by now, because even if they said he had nothing to do with it, lying to the FBI, and the FBI did question about that, lying to the FBI in itself is a crime. You don't have to be. So I'm 110% confident that he was there, and like you said, even it's Seth's own private investigators, both of them, because they weren't hired at the same time, but they both, I think, were on the record as saying that he was at work.
But okay, so just to be clear about it, has any law enforcement source told you that they have confirmed he was in Memphis the whole night?
It told me directly, no.
Okay,
no.
Got it. I'm just trying to make sure that we know what stage each information came from, because at one point Chris did say, I believe it was during his during one of the custody hearings, he told a New Mexico court that he had been cleared, which was not true. He did put in writing that he had been cleared by the authorities in Tennessee, and that was not a true statement.
He also said it in like 3 different interviews.
Yeah, and in like 3 different interviews, which is another reason that this has bugged me.
Yeah.
And I do agree with you that's not a correct statement, because I've never worked a case where law enforcement is going to, they don't just hand out clear passes, they just don't do it, because it'll come back to bite them in the ass. But
they got to know somebody is 100% not responsible.
But they still have no reason to say, okay, here, it's like giving them a pass for some reason. So the only time I've only seen it happen one time in my career, and that was during the Kylie Rodney case, and that was because this minor was just getting absolutely dragged. But in this case, it was probably just, keep in mind that everybody's brand new to this, right? They don't know that, and to use that word, Seth's mom even used that word about Chris and Katie. Said, hey, TBI said that they were clear. I think it's like TBI was saying, they're not persons of interest. Nobody's persons of interest, and I think that became clear. So yeah, it was.
Okay, we're fast forwarding through a little bit. That's a little boring through here, but it picks back up. Look at this. Now there's 8 CPS reports. First there were 5. Now Brittany's putting in the chat that Seth is saying there's 8. Get out of here. Y'all are nuts. Y'all are like, go outside. Go outside. Okay.
Go outside. Maybe he
just outside.
When I first came on board.
And they do talk about this being like a bully situation, or like kids doing this. And I do fully still believe that this could be kids. I've said that since the beginning of this case.
I asked Katie, I said, what is something that
and this is sad.
Somebody could offer to Sebastian to lure him out of the house? Like what could it be? Because, leaving the house after midnight in a very dark neighborhood is just kind of, it seems, I don't know. It's almost scary, right? And I said, what could somebody say to him to lure him out? And she said, or offer him, and she said, friendship. He was that desperate.
That's so sad.
To make friends, and he was having a super hard time at school because groups.
You have friends over here, Sebastian. Don't look at the people in the green team. If they say they're from the green team, just run fast. But no, you do have friends. You have a lot of friends. You have a lot of people that care about you.
We're not accepting of him. And because he went about things a little different way, right? In a unique way. And
maybe that's why people don't like me.
He's just desperate.
Maybe I'm unique.
For friends. And so who knows? Like maybe he was out that's why we had the question about, I know people are saying that I'm accusing neighbors of killing him because they had flashlights. I wanted to ask questions of these people because there's some kids there's kid with flashlights, and Sebastian had a flashlight, and it's like, and all of a sudden during this interview, this mother's talking about them playing flashlight tag, and I wonder, could Sebastian have overheard at school because the girlfriend went to the school? They were playing flashlight tag or something and tried to join in, because I know of an instance not long before he went missing at school where he went and tried to join in a game of, I don't know, catch or something, and they wouldn't accept him, but he would try. He would actually try to make friends. And so it makes me wonder, like, was he at that point where he was just like, I'm going to go try and join in? And could he have done directly challenge and gone the wrong way? Or could he have fallen down some weird crevice? Could he have gone through a backyard? It hasn't been searched yet for some reason because somebody wouldn't let him on it. But who knows what it could be,
Yeah. And I will admit, kids have done brutal things to each other for, no reason whatsoever. We covered a story last year of, might have actually been 2 years ago. Good God. Of a couple of young teenage girls who tried to murder their friend because they wanted to go live with Slender Man. So, like,
she's getting ready to come out. She's ready to get out. One of them's getting ready to get out there, bud. You didn't know that part.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
Kids can be unbelievably cruel for no reason. And
to be clear, like, I don't think these kids, I mean, there was nothing nefarious, but when I brought it up, a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was, and it's gotten turned into something. My question was, because the mother wouldn't talk to me, was I just want to know, like, was there possibly a game going on that Sebastian could have overheard it was going on and been going to try and join in and maybe gone the wrong way or something? It would give us an idea then of, like, so.
Okay. So I guess it's kind of hard to keep everything in one track at this point, but I did want to, there were a couple of more things that I just wanted to clarify really quickly, because I think that they could end up being relevant. Obviously, as you know, Sebastian hiding under a car in the neighborhood, these potential times that he had maybe sort of run away a little bit, but then come home. Have you considered the possibility that it had to do with Seth's method of
you mean Chris
correcting Sebastian's behavior, to put it one way? Because we have not Seth, Chris. I keep mixing the two of them up, but
because you don't know the case.
I guess the question here would be,
you don't know the case. That's why Lord Lodge, whatever his name is. I keep calling him Lounge, Lord Lounge. He's not gonna like me, but I don't care.
Do you know? Are you? Trying to think of the way to put this, because it's something that I struggled with, something that rang.
I mean, we've been in this case a year, right? I mean, and if I see one more person make fun of the Bowersock's name or the Proudfoots, they think they're funny. Like, how old are these people? Like, they're making up nicknames and stuff, and it's like, literally, you're 60 years old. Karen, you're sitting at home all day waiting to get online so you can type that in because you're like saving that for all day. Like, I mean, some of these people, they really need their minds checked. And I mean that with all due respect. I will drive you there, or call me. I'll help you get into treatment with like a psychiatrist or maybe inpatient. And maybe for Betty, a 5150.
Was that in one interview with I believe it was Nancy Grace, but I could be getting this wrong. One of the interviews, Chris said that he had hit Sebastian with a belt once, and that CPS had been called once. Then in an interview with Smiley Stories World, I think 5 days prior, he had actually referenced you can tell based on the context of what he's saying, and you probably saw this in our series. Yeah. He told Smiley Stories World a different story about a different time that this had happened. So that would, suggest that there were multiple times that Chris was doing something that caused Sebastian to go and report it, and then CPS got called to the house at least twice. It bugged me that Chris lied about that. That Chris said it was only once in the one interview, but he clearly was describing a different instance in the other interview. And then, of course, in the New Mexico court records, we have that he was ordered to take, I'm going to get the exact terminology, 12 hours of high conflict behavioral skill training, and 24 hours of parenting skills courses. And this was with regards to his daughter, Faith. So, I mean, that was one thing that rang alarm bells for me, is it seems like there is a pattern. And at this point, a pattern that a court has recognized of Chris maybe not handling high conflict parenting situations well. Do you think that could have played into anything?
Well, okay, so let me talk about the Tennessee situation. So these instances of these CPS records originally was thrown out there as 3 reports, and now it's gone to 5, and it's.
I'm just saying 2.
No, I just want to, because I think it's important to get to it. So, all right. The CPS, you cannot, as I think nobody can see those records, right?
Yeah.
Nobody's allowed to see them. They can only be got by the attorney of a parent, and they can't disclose what it is. So it's really easy to say this happened because nobody can ever fact check it. Now I know what you're talking about with the when he says this the same caseworker. You're talking about that, right? The same caseworker came out. Okay, so and because there's other ways of finding out about some of these. So that caseworker, yes, it was the same caseworker, but that was the first instance, had nothing to do with any punishment or anything. It had to do with they had moved to Tennessee, and there was a well, I mean, Seth disclosed what happened. I'm not going to get into Sebastian's personal trauma. I'm just not going to get into it. But there was there's detectives assigned to that. It was reported to the police immediately. There's a whole investigation. There's detectives assigned. That was simply they had moved to
there's home
Tennessee, and that person came out because of what had happened in that instance. Then the incident you're talking about. So when he said, "Oh, it's the same lady," she wasn't there for 2 times of him hitting Sebastian with the belt. It was the first one was just, and I can tell you, like there was no follow up. I mean, I get the people are against it. Listen, in my school, like they hit us with paddles, and corporal punishment is still used in school in Tennessee. I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying it's not against the law. It's as long as there isn't a visible wound on the child after 2 hours after being hit, it's legal. I'm not saying it should be. I wouldn't hit my kids, but but those.
So I do want to clear one thing up. Are you saying that he was saying that there was only one? Are you saying there was only one instance of him hitting Sebastian with a belt, but there were 2 instances of the CPS worker?
Yeah.
So
that's what it was.
He described 2 separate instances in which he hit Sebastian with a belt.
I don't remember this. See, I don't remember that. Do you remember there was 2 instances? I only remember 1. If there was 2, let me know. I mean, maybe something came out in the last couple of weeks. We haven't been covering this case. And I wasn't going to cover it tonight or ever again. But I was like, let's do this interview. I thought SF, never again.
Okay, but you're talking about, I'm talking about CPS like visits out, because you said that.
Yeah,
you said
in each case, he said there was a CPS visit related to the belt.
He just admitted to it because he said that's the same CPS worker. That caseworker was there because they had moved from California there, and that was regarding trauma.
Yes, so I think we're talking about different things here. Chris described an instance that had happened, I think, a couple of years earlier when Sebastian was 12 or 14. And then there was the one when he was 15, right before he disappeared. That was referenced.
I don't know how many times. I'll just be honest. Okay. I don't know how many times he has hit Sebastian with the belt or scolded him, wherever you want to call it. I know, and I'm confident. Well, I shouldn't say I know. I'm confident, very confident that there's been no CPS cases like charged, because the parents would know if they were right. I'm
gonna fast forward it a little bit. He just talks about like you only would get charged with like abuse if there was a mark after like 2 hours or something like that. I don't know any of that, but it just is kind of boring in through here. So we're gonna go a little faster, because this is 2.5 hour that they went back to back.
Oh yeah, because this just came to be while you were talking. Just because it's a rumor I've seen. I haven't corroborated it. I want to just get your side of it. I've seen people saying that one thing I've seen people saying is that Chris actually was in Hendersonville that Saturday, I believe, or potentially even Sunday, and also, but that he wasn't at that house, that he was like at a poker game or something. The other one I've seen is that Chris was not actually allowed to be at the home when Sebastian was there.
Oh no, I've never heard that before. No, last time he was
he had told an interviewer it was like the first weekend of February was the last time he was there.
I think it was. I mean, I could be. I'm pretty sure it was the second, and it was. Well, I'll tell you exactly. I'm pretty sure it was the second, but it was the day that it was the last time he saw Sebastian too, because Seth was there,
right,
picking up Sebastian. So I don't know if the second
would have been a Thursday.
Would have been on a Friday, I imagine.
I think it was wasn't it Thursday or was it Friday that he went to go see? It would have been Friday because it would have been after school.
But Seth would know too. But that's the last time he was in Hendersonville.
Okay, so he was not in Hendersonville that weekend.
People are like, he's stuttering, he doesn't know how to talk, blah, blah, blah. He's not a professional speaker, guys. He's a search and rescue guy. And he was out there with all the wildfires, right? Helping people, saving people's lives and stuff, doing those kinds of things while we're all over here on the internet in our nice warm homes, doing nothing but trash talking each other.
Last time he made a trip from
it's crazy.
From Memphis or anywhere to back home. So yeah.
Okay. Got it. Do we have any audience questions?
None.
Listen.
Off the bat. I can
see in there.
Skim through and
we usually do questions via super chat. But since
no problem.
Yeah, since we've done
we usually do questions via super chat. Wow. You got a lot of nerve to say it out loud. I mean, you do. You really do. You really do. You really do. Like, you really care about your subscribers.
Have the fundraiser.
I can't see that.
Just the paying
we have the
ones.
fundraiser going. We don't have those many of them.
But you do have them. You can still get super chats and have a fundraiser. I've got a fundraiser going right now. I can send myself a super chat. I'll do it if you want me to. And it'll say, you're the best, Tanya. Like, what do you mean? You can still get super chats. These people in your chat, they don't care about you. They're just here to listen to SF. Lore Lodge. They don't care about you. They want to hear what the guy with the boots on the ground's been doing, not the guy that's in the maid outfit.
I'm going to see if anything's coming through Twitter really quick.
Any money coming through Twitter? Nope. Nope, no one's on Twitter. Look at the guy beside him, the other Aiden. He's like, damn, we ain't got nothing, bro.
Somebody is saying...
Probably Hong. Somebody is saying...
Somebody said that you did not reach out to a Tennessee number that Riley contacted mere hours before he went missing, but they did, and an employee for CNN was the... Yeah, it's kind of hard to read what this is saying. I'm very confused.
Well, then why would you even read it?
I can't see the screen.
Yeah, no, I'm reading it off my phone. I'm just trying to understand this. I
don't know why it froze like that.
Because I don't believe you said that you had reached out to it.
Maybe this is just to
build on that point. Any case I go to, I have this group of people.
Are you guys? I'm having really. He's not like the mouth's not matching.
People that love to go and stir things up. So I'm sure they're bringing up the Kylie Rodney case. I'm sure they're bringing up Riley Strain. I'm sure they're bringing up.
I'm focused on this.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying that's where the noise is coming from. So they don't have anything else to do.
I'm sure that there's going to be plenty of people who are mad at both of us after this conversation.
Oh yeah,
yeah. But like I said from the very beginning, I didn't want this to be adversarial. I didn't want this to be a gotcha kind of.
Hong has a punchable face. I'm going to say it right now. Sue me for that, Hong. You do. The things that come out of your mouth are so disrespectful. Like, where were you raised? Who raised you?
Saying the goal here really was.
I think this has been a great.
Wolves or something, man.
Who at least get some information. So now they can go and if they want it, they feel like they need to fact check it. At least gives you at least on the record. You know what I mean? And I think it's been great to and you guys have been totally fair. And I'm not trying to tell everybody you're not entitled to your opinions. And I'm not saying that you're wrong. I don't know what happened to Sebastian.
Right.
I don't know where he is. I don't know what happened. You could very well be right. I'm just saying, as an investigator, can only try and collect all the dots and then connect them once I got them all. So I don't know. You very well could be right. I'm not saying, I'm just saying there's some evidence that I've seen that.
Right here, there it goes. ICU, titanium. So you're saying Sebastian threw himself in the garbage. I forget what I even said. I just said something about them checking the garbage, the landfill, because of him taking out the trash the night before. Like, as a precaution. That's what they would do. That's what they would do as a precaution. Okay? ICU. She's the broad that runs around trying to get good with everybody, and she gives them information that's like bogus and crappy. She's kind of like crime sleuthing.
Pieces I think that aren't right, but I can't say 100%.
I'm gonna put a red flag in there for her.
I think that's a pretty fair position to take on it.
No, I don't think he's in the trash can.
I think one of the prevailing kind of understandings, I feel like, has been this idea that you're trying to run cover for the Proudfoots. Like I said, you and I have an honest disagreement regarding this.
Red flag, because you're trying to run it on Seth.
I don't know how familiar you are with the JonBenet Ramsey case, but the kind of the relationship that Thomas and Smith had.
Hey, okay, tell me this. Someone riddle me this. I thought I knew the JonBenet Ramsey case pretty well. Did 3 people go down to the basement and search the room she was found in, and they didn't see her before her dad went down? Because I always thought her dad went down by himself after an officer said, search the house, search the basement. I know this is a different case and everything, but does anyone know if they had 3 people down there search and they opened the door and they didn't see her? Because I never knew that. And he says it. So I'm very curious to know more about that. Well, it was her dad that found her. And he picked her up. That was the problem. That's why it got contaminated. He brought her up and he put her in front of the Christmas tree, remember? So who went down there before her dad? Because I don't remember that. I thought it was just the dad. They never searched. That door was never open, right? Mind of Monsters, I'm not losing my shit, am I? Because I'm pretty sure I was 8 or 9 years old when that case happened. I was her age. And they lived and I remember my dad always watched the news and Nancy Grace and all that crap. And I just remember seeing her house. I could literally like close my eyes and count the candy canes going up to the door. Do you know what I mean? I only remember her father going down there, going in that room, seeing her and the way she was. And he picked her up because of course it's his daughter, and he brought her upstairs. Standing by the door closed. Okay. They just didn't go in that room. Hey, FAFO. 10 Toes Down. I love that name.
I see kind of a similar thing there where
and I'm like, I don't know.
I'm seeing things one way, you're seeing things another way, and the evidence will lead where it leads. So that's I can respect that.
There's Aries saying, hope all's well.
I'm in this business to help people, to help the people that need to be found.
Oh, I didn't see you said you agree, Titanium. The chat was going so fast.
Don't have a voice. I'm not here to protect people that take advantage of other people or do horrible things. I've decided to dedicate my life to those people that need that help, and I would never, if I found out Chris and Katie or Seth or anybody did, if I found out somebody did something to Sebastian, I will go at them so hard.
Betty says, no, I don't charge anyone a dime. Yes, you do. Betty, just $1 will do. If you could just give me $1. What would you guys do if I said that? If I came on this live and said just $1?
But until then, until I have that proof, there's no reason to put somebody
through
that anguish, because if we're wrong, my God, I don't want to ruin somebody's life.
And now Brittany says it.
Yeah, I can respect that. I can respect where you're coming from here. I do have one question, unless anything's come through. This one, I mean, if you want to keep looking, but
yeah, I've been strong.
One big, because I see there's a couple of members only ones that came through. I don't know what those are about. Or are they just people becoming members? Okay.
Well, at least you appreciate the members.
But the
we don't have any members.
Sebastian at all. You looked into Riley Strain. You wrote a 293-page report. With that one, do you think it was really an accident?
Yeah, and the reason is so, and that was a case too where, so one thing where I really disagree with law enforcement tactics is where they keep everything so quiet, right? And there's a good example for me, because everybody thought that it was this super mystery and stuff, but really there was, in that case, I've got 145 hours of surveillance. So from the time Riley left that hotel that night with his fraternity brothers and everything, I have footage of him covered in every step he takes in all 3 of the bars. I could watch him. I can see exactly what happened. Once he leaves, he tries to get back in and doesn't, and he leaves. I can see him walking down the streets, and then ultimately at that spot under the bridge, there's a dash cam of a patrol car that happened to be driving by when he was stepped over the barrier of the ledge. And
okay, yeah, they're talking about Riley Strain, so we're gonna go up a little bit to like the 2 minute to 5 minute.
his came back at like 140 something. I think
they're still talking about Riley. They talk about him for a minute.
Hopefully alive. Hopefully somebody's got him, and law enforcement that's law enforcement's side, right? But we can help in the search for him if we do it responsibly, and if that's the case, then find him and just put an end to to this nightmare that this family's going through.
Do you think a renewed, as you said, you think he's probably within 0.7 miles of the house? Do you think a renewed search would?
I've always said I thought a half a mile. Remember?
Find him, or do you think or do you think it needs to be more than just a renewed ground search? Where do you need?
I believe that. I don't know. I don't believe that he's just hanging out somewhere in someone's house. Like I know it happens. It does happen. It does happen, and I hope it does. I hope this is the case, but I don't know. The alternative. Think about it. Think about what Amanda Berry and them girls went through, and for the Cleveland kidnapper. Just think about that, kept them for 10 years, tortured the shit out of them. Like, I don't know what would be worse. I really don't.
Radar and things like that.
And that's just being honest.
There's got to be. In fact, I kind of made a call for.
And then to come back, if you do have to come back into this. This is forever. Internet's forever. This stuff ain't going to go away. I mean, people will delete and private their videos, but other people won't, So he'll come back and he'll see all of this stuff.
In case, there's people that had access to ground penetrating radar. That, like I brought up earlier, those dump trucks dumping all that dirt, it worries me. Those houses are going up so fast. Yeah. I'd like to see, and I don't know anything about ground penetrating radar. I don't know how to operate them. I don't know how to read the returns. So, but if there's anybody out there that has access to that may be willing to help, God, it help clear that area would be great. Yes, there are. I know it seems like, hey, there was hundreds of searchers, but the area is so thick, and there's I do think it needs to be gone over again.
Thousands of people searched for Dennis Martin, and they found nothing.
Well, that's the thing is, one thing that we really realized when we went to Alaska and when we went to Tennessee to cover the things that happen in the Great Smoky Mountains is that, it's easy when you're sitting at home and being like, oh, well, it's such a small area and you've got.
Okay, they're not talking about Sebastian's case through here. I don't know if they do anymore. I think I might have cut it off around this time. Oh, look, that was the ending of it.
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which hopefully it does.
For updates and anything that you would want people to be able to
wow, they leave their ending on forever.
Where are the good places for people to follow you?
Okay, yeah, follow them on Twitter. What's that? Is that the dog?
For now.
What? Oh my. Why does that dog look terrified? That dog. I'm putting the rest of the red flags in there for the dog. For the dog, for Betty, for the whole green team. What kind of dog is that, I wonder? Is that a Pomeranian but bigger?
Or hang on, I'll switch it. There we go.
It's like a mean looking dog. That dog looks mean. That dog looks like it's going to go. Oh, my dog's left. They're at the door. I'm like, where's my dogs at? They're hearing me bark. Ruff, ruff. I do know about Elizabeth Smart case. She did disappear. Yeah, she did. And 9 months later, I believe she was found, and they had her hidden under a veil. The guy who was working on their house, he snuck in. Her sister didn't want to tell, didn't want to get in trouble. I'm telling you, when you talk about true crime case, I love true crime. I'm not here because I know a couple cases or whatever I've learned on this app. No. Your girl used to skip school, and I admit this. My mom, poor mom. But Unsolved Mysteries was on back then, in the I was watching it early 90s, I would say. And I watched all the reruns, of course, but I was watching it, and I would want to skip school to watch Unsolved Mysteries. It came on at like 10 or 11 in the morning. I was at school then. Can't do it, Mom. Can't do it. Gotta watch Unsolved Mysteries. So my poor mother was like, I'm not even dealing with you anymore today, kid. Like, So then it was Father Dowling Mysteries. I don't know if you remember that one. Watch that. And then it went to ID channel and like all that, like A&E. And then I would watch ID channel for like 24 hours, 7 days a week. Like it was just on. And to the point where like after my car accident, my mom was like, can we please change the channel? Like anything but this. And I'm like, no, watching it. I still loved Unsolved Mysteries. They came out with new ones. I watched the new ones in California when we were on vacation. I was like, don't bother me for 14 hours. I'm watching Unsolved Mysteries. People still talk about Elizabeth. Well, and she's an advocate and everything. So, first case that I remember, it might be John Benet Ramsey. Wait, hold on. Was OJ before John Benet? Yeah, he was. OJ. Adam Walsh. Yeah, no, it would have been Adam Walsh. Wasn't it a Sears? His mom let him go to the little arcade. So sad. There's so many kids that are missing out there. There's so many cases that we could be talking about, Like, this one's a dud. Like on this channel, I think this case is like fizzled out. And that's because we're not ignorant. Like we're not going to you guys don't accept everything I say and just be like, "Oh, that's the truth." Like if I say something funny, you guys will be like, "That sounds funny." Like these chats go with these creators and what they say, it's sickening. It's like they drank the Kool-Aid. That like, okay, say a creator, like I'm a creator and I'm just like, let's say I'm just like going after, Mary Beth. And I'm like, Mary Beth is horrible. And the whole chat's going, hate Mary Beth. Mary Beth sucks. Mary Beth's horrible, right? And then 2 seconds later, I'm like, oh, I love Mary Beth. And then you'll see the chat going, we love Mary Beth. Like, it's literally like that on YouTube streets right now. It's weird. It's weird. It's weird. And people are saying that I'm trying to belong somewhere. Where? There's nowhere to belong on this platform other than by yourself with your subscribers. If you're lucky to have them like I do. Like, y'all, I'm really lucky to have you guys. Like, thank you. Thank you for being so nice and kind and courteous and respectful and all of the things. Especially to me. You guys show me a lot of grace. So, thank you, True Crime Lullabies. I appreciate it. Oh, and I'll email you back tomorrow, too. I really appreciate you emailing me. See, that's what I mean. That's what we need to do. More awareness. I think, serial killer. I used to read, what were those ones? Not Goosebumps, but the R.L. Stine, like Fear Street. Oh, I could probably read those again, even though I'm in 39. I could probably still read those. We do have a best chat. I look forward to coming on every night. Like, I mean, I really do. I look forward to like hanging out with you guys. I don't know why I don't come on. Like, I do sometimes come on earlier, but like I'll just be sitting here and I'm like, I miss my chat. I didn't have Ladybug or Mary Beth over in our other chat earlier today. I was like, where's those ladies at? No, we just did a live on how to drink more water, which is, a random live. Like not a lot of people like to talk about water, but we made it fun. I actually don't have my cup because I have it in the outside, not outside. It's in the kitchen, but it's really cute. I have to take a picture of it. I think I did. And now I can't remember if I did or not. But I showed it on my other channel over on Unfiltered. True Crime Lullabies got me one of those circle cups that it does like the infused fruit, so I can drink less sugary drinks and more water. And it was good. And I didn't expect it. I was like, oh, this is going to be bad. I was telling Vince, I was like, I'm not going to like this. I didn't think I would. And it didn't taste like diet. It didn't taste like, it tasted like actually like a drink. I'm excited to try the lemonade ones because, I'll be loving me some lemonade. And Vincent's mom sometimes sends lemons in the mail, so I can cut them up too. Oh, it's okay, Ladybug. You and plus Mary Beth works. Ladybug, you were just probably busy. You were busy, weren't your husband? Yeah, no, you guys are fine. I always notice when, there's like people are missing. I'm just like, where are they at? Plus I kind of sprung it up on you guys. So I may go live tomorrow over there. You never know. Oh, did she? True Crime Lullabies. That's so good to hear. Gallon of coffee and a gallon of water. See, that's you're balancing it out. I'm not trying to quit soda because I will get bad migraines, but I am trying to cut it back to like maybe 3 a day. I was drinking probably 6, 7. So, oh, Tempest, that's so sweet. You got your kiddo though. My dad used to call me kiddo. That was one of my nicknames. Blue cake butterfly. It can. Sentencing's tomorrow morning. Well, let me know about it. It's amazing when people, when people get justice. One of these days, I will go over and watch some of the stuff on Grizzlies. I always forget about Grizzly. Like I always think of like, where can I go? Because I've been thinking like, where can I go to find like not to meet other creators, but just to be in a chat where you can talk about true crime and not fear a bunch of people coming after you, and I feel like I could go over there and that would be fine, and then, Nonsense's chat, they're always sweet to me. They're always really nice. Nonsense has always been really nice to me. And then who else was the other one I went in? I can go in Granny's chat. No one messes with me over there. They know better, Granny wouldn't take any of that. I don't know. There's just some chats I don't go in anymore. I'm just like, I'm just like, oh, or if I do, I'll say like one word and then I'm like out, I'm like, oh. The Excedrin. Oh, I used to Duchess. That's the other one. I told Vincent the other day, I said, I'm just going to hang out over here. I was like, I like Duchess. I used to be like addicted to Excedrin. No lie. Like, and it was like an addiction. Like I never had a headache, but I had like caffeine in them. This was like in my 20s and I would take probably 2 a day and I would take them in the morning. I guess I probably felt like a little achy, but nothing like I do now. I'm no car accident or nothing, but I would take 2 of them a day. Arctic Fox is good too. Arctic Fox is really good about pushing them missing people. Yeah, what's going on? Yeah, drunk turkey. Is it just Daniel now by himself? That kind of sucks. Law and Crime Court. I like those. I like the trials and stuff. Right, Thoria. And then she said something really nice about me like one day, and I was like, "Oh, that was really nice." I was like, "I appreciate that." And I don't think she even knew I was in the chat. Like, I don't think I even said anything. I was just like in the bushes because sometimes I'm in the bushes a lot. But then like someone will say something and it'll get me like, and I'll have to like reply, and I'm like, "Here I am." I know. I think I did probably get rebound headaches from that. Because I have migraines now, but that's from my eye and stuff. I don't know, like I just get them on that side. But it's okay. But I love Advil. I'm an Advil queen. Advil's the only thing that works for me. When I was coming off of the pain medication, they had me on 30 milligram Oxycontin. I was on those like 4 times a day, 3 times a day or something like that. And they weren't working. I was like, Mom, these are not working. So then they switched me to the patch that, what's the one that everyone like overdoses on? I can't think of the name of it. But it was a fentanyl. It was a patch. And it was supposed to go on for 3 days, take it off for 3 days. I put that thing on and I was like, I'm in so much pain. It didn't work. That thing did not work. So I was like, okay. Then they switched me back to that, to the pill medication. And then after that, I was like, I'm going to try some Advil. I told my mom one day, I was like, I'm just going to try Advil. Just let me see. Took 2 Advil. I was up cleaning and everything else. I was like, what? I couldn't even believe it. I could not believe it. I didn't get my eye today. I think it's coming tomorrow or Wednesday. It should be tomorrow because they sent it out. Well, I was there Thursday, so he probably sent it out Friday. And then it only takes like, I guess, a day to do it. And I don't know how they get it to me so fast, but it'll be here like tomorrow. Like, I don't know if they spend like time over the weekend and just work on it or if they have like, I don't know. Maybe they have like a drawer of eyes just for me. You know, like, because I mean, it's not like I'm going to get it back. Yeah, Ladybug, those fentanyl patches are no joke. My mom was like, it's not working. I'm like, no. I looked it. I was so mad. I was that mad. I was in so much pain. I mean, I had broken bones everywhere, you know, but then I took the Advil and I was fine. I was like, how is that even possible? Like, so I was able, thank you. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for letting me get off of that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of people can't just stop taking, you know, medication like that. But I was extremely lucky. And I think I worked through the pain so much that it was just like, this is nothing. This is nothing. But yeah, I had the fentanyl ones. And then they would like make you like flush them down the toilet and all that. Oh, it was bad. There's all of my red flags for the night. So many. I will have to keep these out. I forgot about them. I have some orange ones too. So whenever somebody gets sentenced, we can pull those out, you know, like orange for their orange outfits they'll be staying in. No, they don't, Angel. Temu sells prosthetic eyes. No, they don't. I'm writing that down. Oh my God, you gotta be. I'm getting one. Temu's Oh, I just touched the desk, like adjusted it. Temu eye. Okay, I just underlined that twice. I got. It wouldn't hurt me. I mean, it wouldn't. It's just tissue there. You know what I mean? But oh my, I just want to see what it looks like. I'll have to show you mine. I will show you the 2 that I have when I get the 3rd one, or I'll show you the new one before I put it in or something. But what? Temu teeth. I think I'm good on the teeth, but the eye, I just do. Yes, Thor. Me too. I actually been saying I dare them to cover another case. Just once a week, one other case. Just give it a try. It's because they don't know how to do it. Some people can hold information in, and some people, and they can retain it, and some people can't. And, you know, that's all. Your dad's eye was hand painted. Oh, I bet that was gorgeous. They like put veins and stuff in mine. It's so crazy how they like, you don't think about that. Like, you know what I mean? You just think white, like you just think white and then brown or whatever. But no, there's like a certain amount of black that goes around the brown on the inside, that, you know, just everything. Now, Temu, I have seen some, I haven't gotten anything, but I've seen some stuff for the home. I think you just have to make sure that you measure, like, you know, like make sure the measurements are good. But their clothing I can't wear. It's just something, it itches or something to me. And I'm just very, I have sensory problems. So like, this is actually like, it's a sweater, but I think it's actually for like to sleep in. But it's just like a regular, I mean, it has just like a regular hem on it. So I don't know, but it's comfortable, so I wore it tonight. It's all about that money. Tim Fisher's so right. It really, yeah, it's all, I mean, like if they were having people like, you know, if they were getting less than 100 people in their chat, they wouldn't be covering the case. You know, I'll give you an example. Madalena Kojakari. I'm going to cover that case again soon because there is some new stuff out. Mary Beth, there's actually some news. Like it's not huge news, but there's news. And so I wanted to go back over her case. Whenever we do Madalena's case, we have less than 100, you know, in here. But I don't care. I'm going to continue to cover her case because I care about her. I care about seeing her come back to somebody, not her mom, but you know, somebody that loves and cares for her. And I really hope that she is found. And I think I feel like she's alive. No, so TikTok is back. TikTok was only down for 14 hours. I did a TikTok live today, guys. When I did a live over here, I did a TikTok live. Did you guys see the guy that, okay, he's trending. He's got like 3 million views. He goes up on the, in the bathroom, in the mirror, he says his name and he's like crying. And he says his mom has died and his daddy's died. His little sister and his brother. And he said that he just wants to be able to say, he just wanted to be able to have proof that he was here and that people knew that he was here. Like that makes me want to cry just thinking about that. Like, that's sad. He has over 3 million views. All these people were commenting. I commented, and I never comment on any TikTok. And I commented, and I said, hi, my name's Tanya, and I'm your new cousin. And like, I just like, was like, nice to meet you. You know, like everyone was saying like really cute things like that. And it was just like, that's the kind of stuff that we need. Like we need to uplift, like, you know, uplift each other. This is the true crime genre. It already sucks. It's already dark. It's already depressing. But if we can actually find a child that's missing alive, how amazing would that be? How amazing. How amazing. Do you know how amazing it feels? I know. I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. Because 2 winters ago, I was out there searching for 2 little boys that were kidnapped in negative 36-degree weather and a foot of snow, but I didn't care. I couldn't come home. Every time I came in here, I got mad at myself because I was like, I'm warm and they may not be. And they weren't even my kids. Like, I don't know. It was just something in my heart and in my soul I had to help find. And they ended up finding both of them. Separate days. They found one little twin one day, then the twin the next day. Mama was happy. You know, it was a sad case. It was a sad case. If another kid went missing, yeah, they'd be gone. Yeah. But I'm going to jump off here. I appreciate you guys all spending some time with me tonight. We did like another 2-hour live. We did a long live. I believe it was last night too. And hey, Micro Kimmy, I saw you come in. Hopefully you're doing well. But I'm going to jump off here. I'm going to get ready, I guess, for bed. Yeah. It's so weird, like not having the dogs in here. I keep looking around like, where's my posse? Where's my posse at? But thanks for being here. If you don't hear an outro, that's because it was copywritten, even though it says it's not supposed to be. But I'm going to use the same intro for my outro because I didn't make one yet. The intro took me like hours to make today. I was on this treadmill for like 2 hours, or on this walking pad, I should say. So thank you guys for being here. I will see you guys all tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt.